Hello and welcome back to Irma Sofra. Today we're going to be making baklava filled with an apple filling. It's absolutely phenomenal, definitely a crowd pleaser, and so easy to make, so stay tuned for my recipe. We're going to start off with a simple syrup, and if you followed any of my recipes in the past that require it, you know how easy it is to make. We're going to combine sugar and water in a pan, a squeeze of lemon, and then in this recipe we're going to add a little bit of honey for some flavor. We're then going to put that on our stovetop and we're going to put it on a medium-low setting, and once that comes up to a boil, we're going to reduce it down to a simmer, and we're going to simmer this on medium-low again, more on the low side, for 10 to 15 minutes until it's thickened up a little bit and all those flavors have combined beautifully. Then, once it's kind of thickened up, everything's combined, we're going to turn off that heat and we're going to set it off to the side until it's cooled down completely. We love apples in our house, so I always have a variety on hand, but you can use anything that you have. A variety does enhance the flavor just a bit, so keep that in mind. You can use 4 to 5 small to medium sized apples, and all you're going to do is you're going to peel the skin off and then you're going to grate this in a bowl. Once you've grated your apples, I then take some cinnamon. Now I only had cinnamon sugar on hand, so I'm using some cinnamon sugar, and then I'm using some regular sugar, and I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla to that. Now with this recipe, you can add absolutely anything in here. You can do some nuts, you could do some walnuts would work really nice with this, or some raisins, just about anything. If you don't like cinnamon, you don't have to use cinnamon. My mom's recipe, she actually takes the apples and the sugar, she doesn't use cinnamon, she puts it on the stovetop and she actually cooks the apples a little bit. I don't really see a purpose for that. I think it's just like an extra step that's not that useful. So keep that in mind. Some people have different variations. This is mine. Alright, I melted some butter and some oil together in the microwave, and then I'm just going to coat the bottom of my baking dish with that oil and butter mixture. Now you can use whatever you have on hand when it comes to baking. Just make sure it's large enough so that every single roll that we make today has an even amount of space in between, because we want that top layer of phyllo dough and those layers to be nice and golden brown, and the only way that we're going to achieve that is by making sure that we give enough space to those rolls. Now all I do next is I count the phyllo sheets, and then I'm just going to use 4 phyllo sheets for each roll. I had 2 more sheets of phyllo dough at the end. You can either throw those away or you can just add them to the last 2 rolls. So in total I had 18 sheets. And then I just take some of that butter and oil and I sprinkle that on top of each phyllo sheet. Like I said, I'm going to use 4, and then I'm going to add a little bit of that apple at the bottom there, roll it up and put it in my baking dish. And I eyeball how much of the apple filling I put inside of each, but you guys, if you want, you can divide it up evenly. It's up to you. And then if your phyllo dough rolls don't fit into your baking dish, mine were just a little bit longer than my baking dish, you can cut the sides or you can scrunch it up a little bit. The phyllo dough is pretty flexible, so it's nice and easy to scrunch up, and it looks beautiful when you scrunch it up just a little bit. It looks very rustic. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to cut these, and what I do is I cut them up to the best of my ability, making sure that they're nice and even. I cut and then I recut, just making sure that that cut is completely down and through all of that phyllo dough, just so that it's nice and easy to serve when it comes time for that. And then any of the butter and oil mixture that we were coating the phyllo sheets with, we're going to make sure that we coat that on top of every single one of these rolls so that we get a nice beautiful golden crust on top. And I didn't get to show you guys that there's a lot of space in between each roll, but I cannot stress this enough. This phyllo dough is going to puff up so beautifully in the oven. You definitely want space in between each roll, because we want that phyllo dough to get nice and golden brown on every single side. So you guys will see once they're out of the oven, you'll see how much they actually puff up. Roughly an hour and about 10 minutes later, my baklava is ready to go, beautiful and golden brown. I'm going to take my hot baklava and I'm going to pour over my completely cooled down simple syrup that we were working on earlier, and it's going to bubble up beautifully, and we're going to make sure that every single piece of that baklava is coated in that simple syrup. Now you guys can see the edges over there. It's definitely an auburn color, and that's totally fine. That's that sugar that's in those apples. It's caramelized, but that is going to give your simple syrup so much flavor, so don't worry about that. I'm telling you, it's going to enhance this baklava so much. And then all you're going to do is let this cool down completely. I actually like this cool down and put it like somewhere cooler, like in the fridge for a little bit. and then I serve it because I just think that when it's cooled down, it tastes so much better. And it is so, so good. Growing up, my mom used to make double batches of this, and it was gone within 24 hours because I think I was the one eating it the most. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Add me on Instagram, and I will see you guys next time.